Episode 75, the Freelance Services Show. Holy cow, this is episode 75. Today, we get down to business and discuss the benefits of having a master list of services for freelancers. And you are listening to episode number 75 of Mike Murphy Unplugged. Learn, create, move forward. I am your host, Mike Murphy. I'm a one-man band. I'm a technology junkie. I love helping people figure things out. I am really excited to be here with you today. The goal of Mike Murphy Unplugged, it's to help you learn what you need to know in order to create online content so you can move forward in business and in life. So today's episode 75, it was inspired by my procrastination of creating a list of services so I can self-promote and market myself as a freelancer and a content creation expert. I know I have a lot of skills and expertise around content creation that can help small brands and businesses who might be overwhelmed or confused with content marketing or how to make videos or tutorials or how to set up a podcast or website. If I want to build a sustainable business, that I do, that will support the fun I have creating free and valuable content, it is up to me to clearly communicate what services I offer and how hiring me will benefit a business or brand. So episode 75 today is all about creating a list of business services. But first, a little reflection moment. So today, episode 75, this marks another milestone of sorts for my podcast and online journey. For those of you who have been here since episode 1 or the early days, I thank you for sticking around and appreciate the support more than you know. Now, I'm not very big at celebrating my wins or accomplishments despite what all the self-help gurus say, but I am proud of the work and effort that I have put in to produce 75 episodes so far. Podcasting is really hard work, and so is everything about creating content for an online or local brand, but I love it all, and that's why I want to create a business around it. From day one, my goal for this podcast was to teach and inspire others by sharing my journey of creating a personal brand and online business. By sharing my knowledge and processes, I knew that I would establish myself as an authority in areas that I am interested in and the skills required to create content such as photography, design, audio, podcasting, video, web, and tech, and pretty much anything that involves creativity, tech, and helping people along the way. My hobby and fun has always been creating and learning new skills, and I feel compelled to share my knowledge with others who are stuck or just need technical or inspirational advice. My hobby and skills, they are valuable to other people, and my knowledge and understanding of the tech and the tools is what I'm building my entire business around. I just have to let people know what it is I do. So I'm banking on one of my favorite quotes from Derek Sivers that I've mentioned here several times. That is, what's obvious to me is amazing to others. I keep reminding myself of that as I focus my attention on making a living doing what I love. So on to the content portion of episode 75. The most successful businesses clearly communicate what services and value they offer and how those services will benefit their clients or customers. Plain and simple. So one of the most obvious ways that freelancers or one-man bands can communicate their expertise is using something as simple as a list or a menu of services. Having a master list of services is going to save you and your prospects time and make pricing clearer, and it might prompt people to add on services after reading your list of recommended services. It can be as much of an educational tool as it is a sales tool if done right. So the Mike Murphy LLC master list of services, I have it broken apart into two different parts. So part 1 I have listed as the content creation blueprint or the roadmap. This is the big picture view of content marketing with talking points and examples under each of the main categories. So part 1 is designed to be simple but detailed and clear enough for anyone, any small business or brand to understand and say, oh, so this is what you mean by content marketing, or I never thought about that for my business. This might be perfect for our upcoming workshop, etc., etc. The mere act of simplifying this content puzzle that I'm inundated with and that I speak the lingo that other people don't, it's going to build my authority and the trust in me. Education. This is a powerful marketing tool. We all know that. So I am simply taking all the bits and pieces swirling around the internet that confuses people, bundling them up into a tight little package and say, this is what it means. So part 1 will kind of summarize and show people what we're talking about, and part 2 will be more of a detailed list of services that I offer along with pricing when possible. So part 1, I have it broken down into 5 big categories. This is the content creation of the blueprint part. I have it broken down into web, writing, video, audio, and social media. Okay, these are kind of the top tier categories. So 1, in the website, in the blog area, you need a home base for content. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Inside of that website, you might need a blog, a portfolio, an e-commerce site, and products such as podcast pages, something to hold your show notes. Also under the blog category and website, lead generation and email list building. This is a big one. How do people sign up for your newsletter? And finally, under that web category, I'd include something about affiliate marketing, how to make money off your website. So number 1 is really just a home base for content. Number 2 in the content overview is writing. This consists of blogging, how-tos, tutorials, email newsletter content, writing and publications on medium.com, authority articles and networking on LinkedIn, guest blog articles, cross-content marketing with vendors and competitors, and self-publishing and ebooks, which we are all experts in by now. Okay, so on to number 3, video. This is huge, and a lot of people just do not know where to start. Well, here's a whole bunch of examples that we've talked about over and over again. There's tutorials, screencasting, any type of educational videos, promo videos, explainer videos or animations, gear and product reviews, daily vlog style, behind the scenes, maybe classes or courses. There's live streaming, live event coverage, Q&As, FAQs, social media video, the list goes on. So video is a big deal, and it's also something that intimidates or overwhelms a lot of small brands and businesses. But having this list of services, I think, is only going to give them ideas or going to spark ideas and say, hey, we could do that, but we could sure use your help. Okay, so a 4th area for content creation is audio. There's podcasting for promotion. There's coaching and training audio. There's also audiobooks. We talked about that in the self-publishing, ACX. There's live event and conference podcasting, which is very popular. There's also just putting your podcast on YouTube, which is a great way to get more exposure. So now on to number 5, the big daddy of them all, social media. This is the hub of most small brands' content strategy. The goal is not to be everywhere. It's to be everywhere your target audience and clients are. On my master list, I thought it would be most helpful to take the major channels and just put some bullet points underneath so you can sort of just say, okay, this is good for that. For example, Instagram, I have sponsored ads, Instagram stories, live, daily posts. For Facebook, small businesses and brands need to be aware of Facebook ads and pages and private groups and events and Facebook Live and Facebook stories. Yes, Facebook stories coming soon. Then there's Twitter and Periscope. Not for everybody, but it's great for live stream and events. And there's Snapchat. If you're targeting the 13 to 28-year-olds, Snapchat is still a big player. LinkedIn, I find boring, but it is still a big deal for small businesses and brands. And Pulse, LinkedIn Pulse is a great way to establish your authority by writing big white paper style articles. For more visual designers, photographers, crafty people, there's Pinterest and Etsy still going strong. Many don't think of it that way, but YouTube is a social media platform. It's the number 2 search engine in the world. YouTube Live is just ramping up. You can put all your videos, your marketing, promo stuff on there. You can put the audio from your podcast. A lot of good stuff on YouTube, and definitely relevant. The whole point of creating this master list of services, these are things that are relevant to you. These are problems that you are probably facing, or these are ideas that will help you. I'm providing them. I'm educating people who are reading this, and hopefully it's very helpful for them to say, hey, we're not doing this, but this is a great idea. How can we solve this? And that's where we go to part 2, which is your list of services. These are things that you can actually do to help them or to solve their problem. So on your freelance price list, you actually have to list the products and services and pricing that you are going to charge. I do not have my pricing fine-tuned yet. I will share it when I do. I think pricing is really tricky. I hate charging people, but that's what this entire exercise is all about, is to flush out all the things that you do, and then determine how much value does your service actually bring. And I know this is easier said than done, but it's going to come with trial and error and experience and time. So let's look at my part 2, the menu of services in my freelance services list. I'm just going to show you my thought process behind creating these. What I basically did was I looked at all the things that I think I'm pretty good at, things that I want to do more of, and I broke them all apart. And then under each category, I listed the things that I think would, 1, be helpful or be valuable to people who are trying to create content, and 2, these are the things that I want to do more of. So I broke it apart in a couple big categories. I probably wouldn't give everybody all the things I can do, but let me just show you my thought process of when I flushed this out. So I have coaching and consulting as number one, helping people figure things out. That is my comfort zone. That's what I like to do, and people come to me for advice and feedback. So this is something that I know I'm going to be doing a lot of, and I also need to be charging for it. The bulk of consulting, it's going to be things like content strategy, helping people set clear goals and intentions. I might ask questions. What are you wanting to accomplish? Who is your target audience? How can you deliver the most value to your clients or your target audience? What social media channels should you be on? What type of content should you be making? How can you repurpose the content? What tools and resources do you need to be more productive and efficient? Do you need Adobe Creative Cloud? Do you need FreshBooks for accounting? Would social media manager tools like Buffer help you? So these are all things that I'm saying, I know a thing or two about these, and you might be helping these. So while they're reading this, I'm also educating them on things that they might not have thought about yet. It's simply a matter of identifying their pain points, identifying what's in it for them, and saying, here is a solution that I can provide for you. That is how you establish trust, authority, and value. So I'll go through the rest of everything on part 2 here really quickly. The first one that we identified was coaching and consulting. The rest of it, these are all the things that I talk about in the podcast all the time. So I'm just going to put them down real quickly. I have podcasting, obviously. This is going to be stuff like setup, help with setup, gear and equipment training. Then I have photo and video services. We know photo and video is a part of everything in content creation, so that's going to be a big part of what I do. Design and graphics, you can't do anything online without somehow needing Photoshop or basic graphic design help. So I'll put that in as my list of services. So rounding out the part 2 of my list of all the things that I can do, which is way too many I realize, but that's web and tech. It'll be like designing websites, domain and hosting setup, WordPress caretaking, where I monitor your health of your website every month, or email newsletter setup design, troubleshooting for your Mac or iOS devices. You know, all the things that I talk about and teach on this podcast or that I make in my tutorials, those will be included somewhere on my business list of services. Okay, let's wrap up today. I know there was an overload of information. Today's episode was really difficult to create. I definitely bit off more than I can chew trying to explain this whole exercise, but I'm glad I pushed through it because I really believe that the more you simplify your workflow and process, the clearer and easier everything becomes. This gave me a lot of clarity of what it is that I am capable of delivering, what value I bring to the table, and what it is that I want to do more of, what it is that I can really build a business around. So the business I am building, it's centered around creating content and helping others be successful and to create a meaningful business and to be happy in life. So working as a freelancer and taking on clients as a consultant, that is not my long-term goal, but it is something that's going to allow me to create my own content eventually and to teach for a living online. So why do I think that building a business list of services or the freelance services are important for you or for any small brand or businesses? Well, there's a whole number of reasons that we've talked about today, but one thing that a lot of people don't realize, it is a time saver and a productivity tool to have all your stuff in one place. It makes it clearer for you to understand what it is that your business is all about. It might also filter out clients. They might not be a good fit for you. Being able to clearly communicate what it is that you deliver, what it is that you bring to them, and why hiring you is going to benefit them is a very big deal. But I know what my strengths and interests are, and I am doubling down on those and really trying to make my services play off my strengths and my interests. So the bottom line, a list of professional business services. It should be on your list of priorities, I think, and you are welcome to steal anything you want from my model if it helps you with your business. Everything I talked about today, it's going to be in the show notes, as I mentioned, at mikemurphy.co/EP75. So have a look at this big master list of services that I've flushed out. This document is living. It's going to be broken apart and modified as the business evolves, but it's a starting point. So if you're just starting out with your business and you're really trying to figure out who to target, where to go from here, I really suggest that you start with this big list of service. I can't tell you how helpful it's been for me. I know I've had a hard time explaining it, but it is a really helpful exercise. So that's going to conclude the big 7-5, 3/4 of a century. It's hard to believe. And my plan is to keep chugging along for you as long as I am delivering good stuff and helping you in your business and life. And I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this podcast. And for that, I thank you. If you haven't already done so, head over to mikemurphy.co/newsletter. Sign up for the mailing list. It'd mean a lot for me. And you would also, I think, enjoy the newsletter that comes out every Friday morning. I thank you for joining me today. I really hope you join my one-man band. And together, we can learn, create, and move forward. Cheers.